Well, there's different times this year that we have walked up one linebacker into the line of scrimmage. We actually moved away from that last week. So if you study the game, you watch the game last week, there was a few times in base defense, they were, not even a few, probably a couple times in base defense, they were walked up. Now third down, and when you're doing some exotic blitzes and things, we're going to have them walked up. We always have. You get in the gaps, and most teams do that. But it's more first and second down, base defense, where we've done some things. Now there's a lot of positives that can come out of that if you can get good at it. The main one being getting double teams off your defensive line, like instantly. But it's not something that our guys, we thought as we went through the season we would get more and more comfortable with it. That hasn't been the case. So Saturday, we really limited it and picked our spots to do it, to times that, the play set up perfectly to do that. And we'll probably continue to do that. But, if it was, again, if there's one issue, and I understand, when you struggle, people want to be able to say, that's the reason, let's go. Well, there's no one reason. The truth of the matter is that we're actually making progress in all areas. There's some things that I wish we'd make it faster. But when you watch the game and really evaluate it, there's a lot of good plays, a lot of 0-yard gains, negative gains, sacks. We're giving up big plays still. And whether it's after TCU or it's middle of the season or it's after Saturday's game, those big plays have been, and whether the big plays were we gave up a big play or we're off the field on third down like we were 3 times Saturday night and we make a penalty, that's a turnover. Like if you really think about it, you're off the field, you're getting the ball back. Oh no, we're not, we're back out. So when you're watching the video and okay, there's the third down play, we're off, and now we start 15 yards ahead, but they got the ball again, and we never got the ball back. To me, that's a turnover. So those mistakes are really critical. But there is no one thing. It's not the linebackers up, it's not safety play, and all the things that can be talked about. It's a combination of them all. And I do feel like, though, being around these guys every day, practicing with them, watching their performance, really evaluating them, I do think that they're on this kind of ascension. We had a tough night Saturday night, without a doubt, but there was a lot of stuff in there where you say, playing solid football, you're giving up some of these plays. We have to get that straightened out. That would be the big thing. We've had a chance this week, which is great, is to really just look at us. Not have to worry about a game plan for Saturday, not have to worry about stopping a certain opponent's plays. And it's been a good exercise. Monday, Tuesday, and now today we're in there doing it. And you know what, I think we're getting close and just in the nick of time, because we need to go out and play really good defense down the stretch if we're going to accomplish the goals that we set out for at the beginning of the year.
Left, front row left. Bill?
Greg, I guess you maybe touched on some of this, but you've talked a lot about the inexperience, the youth on this defense. Looking back through these, I guess it's 8 games now, is it possible you've put too much on a group of young defenders? Like, is the scheme, can the scheme you've played be confusing to young guys who are still trying to feel their way through it?
You always got to look in the mirror first. I've purposely not done that, so other people may have said we're young, or I've tried not to really say that very much.
You said the other day someone asked you about, like, the same thing's all you asked you about, and you said you wished you could give them experience in a pill. That's
true.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're young. It just means I wish they had more plays under their belt. Yeah. Because I don't like, at Ohio State, young is good, because that means that old just went to the league early, and guys are moving along at a good clip. We need to get guys plays, and when you log plays, things happen easier for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm used to it. I've run this play. So, when you talk about an up alignment in first and second down, that takes away maybe from an off alignment in first and second down. So maybe that was a chance to get 2 more repetitions at something, but now they're 2 different things. That would be, as I evaluated us in the last, since the game, and set back and look not just at Purdue, but at the whole season. How can we help? That's our job, is how can we best put these guys in position to make a play, to do their job. And, I look in the mirror, and then I ask our assistant coaches to look in the mirror and say, where are we not doing the very best for them? And then we also have to look at, when we look at the plays, because we watch not just the Purdue game, we watch the plays from the whole season. It can be scheme. It can be one-on-one battles, right? The other team's on scholarship too, and we got licked. Or it can be a mental error. And when the mental errors come, Scheme is we did a bad job putting him in position. One-on-one, that happens. Mental errors, why does that happen? That's kind of the question, and that hasn't really been the big issue. Mental errors have not been. Up until last week, we've been one of the best tackling teams in America. We missed 20 tackles last week, and we haven't missed 20 tackles since we've been here. So that's, you say, what are you working on? This week that became an emphasis where it really wasn't an alarming issue. We were in the single digits all the time, and sometimes in the low single digits, and that's what you look at as a coordinator. You want to make sure that your team is tackling at that level of efficiency. And for whatever reason, let's give our opponents some credit, but for whatever reason, we tackled as poorly as we've tackled at least in my tenure here. So there's a whole bunch of things, and this week has been a great week. Yesterday's practice was great to work on certain things. And it's week, 7-1, so it's 8 games in. You're not going to wholesale change your schemes, and nor should we. But there's things we can tweak to help them. There's an opportunity to talk with your guys, right, where there's not this impending, you got to get ready for the game, and to talk as a staff. And that we did Monday. We spent a really good day Monday and yesterday looking at ourselves, not worrying about anybody else, but just what are we doing, how can we help them?
I think the Purdue game, I think a lot of people would say, maybe you wouldn't say it, but if you look at that offense through 3 quarters, I think they had 21 points, 300-something yards, were not very good on third down. I think that's a pretty solid performance against that team. Fourth quarter was obviously different. Just what did you sense from your guys in the fourth quarter of that game?
Well, I would agree with that. Right up until we make a critical error, 1:51 left in the second quarter, it's 7-3. They get the ball back right before the half. We make a critical error on the first play. And we know they're going to run the ball. We call a run call. We just don't execute it real well. And now they get I think it was a 19-yard gain. And as a coach, I've been there many times, especially at Rutgers when you're playing a highly ranked team and you're winning the game. All right, it's 7-3. I can go into the halftime, 7-3 over Ohio State. Where do I sign? Well, then you pop the 19-yard run, and now they're into a full-fledged 2-minute drill. And that got us to be 14-3, right, when we give up the fake field goal and then they score a touchdown. Like you mentioned, first half they're 1 for 7 in third down. So we're playing solid football. I'm not saying we're not going to cover off it, but we're playing solid. And then the fourth quarter really got away from us. And I don't, that's one of the things that I really spent some time with our players on is what do you think occurred here? Because that's not like us. We may give up a big play or we may do something, but a lot of those missed tackles occurred. Not all of them, but I'd say half of them occurred in that fourth quarter. So we definitely examined it. And again, in all those 3 phases I talked about, right? Was it scheme? Was it one-on-one? Or was it a mental error? And why? And that's our job to figure it out this week. I'm not being naive to what's been put on tape and what we've done, but I feel really encouraged that we're close to getting back to playing mature defense. And mature defense to me is not only making these really good plays, but not allowing the bad plays. You can give up some plays. A 10-yard out and a 15-yard dig aren't going to kill you as long as you line up and put a 46-yard run. That's going to hurt, or a 79-yard pass. That's going to hurt. We need to. We're close. I really do feel that way, and as I said, just in the nick of time because this home stretch is going to determine, this season.
Third row left, Dan.
Greg, how much of a difference does it make when you have a week like this that you can just focus on scheme in terms of not preparing for an opponent? Are there different changes you can make before that next game that you just aren't able to make those first 8 weeks?
Without a doubt. And again, like I said, we're not going to make wholesale changes because I don't think any of us believe we should. But you can tweak your scheme. You can say, how are we going to help this guy? Or we've had troubles at this position. How are we going to help that position be better? And without having a team to get ready for, you can really drill down on it. And whatever that change is, which I certainly can't share, you can really work on it in practice to help put that player in a position that the next time out he can do it better.
How much do you think this has been like scheme versus execution in terms of what the defense's struggles have been?
Oh, it's always a mix of both when you're struggling, and just when you're playing well, right? When you're dominating people, it's never just scheme or execution. It's always both. It's never any one thing that's making you great, and it's never one thing that's making you struggle. That's what makes it a little more complex than just whoop, fix it.
Front row right, Tim.
Cool.